Our big goal here at Ag PhD is to help you make more money on your farm, and in order to do that, you probably need to raise better crops. So when we start talking about wheat, one of the most important things with wheat is being able to go back out and spray multiple times for diseases, insects, weeds, and actually to even apply fertilizer a couple, 3 times during the season if necessary. Well, in order to be able to do all that, Darren, you're probably going to have tramlines.
Well, here's a couple things, Brad. First of all, I can hear people already saying, well, no problem. I'll just call in the plane. We'll aerially apply stuff. And you know what? That works great. There's nothing wrong with aerial application. It works just fine. And you know what? As a last resort, that's awesome. It's kind of nice to have that first resort of I can do it myself, just in case, you know what, the plane's all booked up. He can't get here timely. I've got something that's happening in my field like stripe rust popping up or an insect outbreak that I don't want to wait 2 days or something like that. I need to go out now. And if you've got that option to spray your own stuff, that's pretty cool too. Personally, I like it if you've got both options on the table. That way, you know, I've got 10,000 acres I got to get over. I can't spray that in one day. I can call on the plane. They can start on one end and I can start on the other and go. So I think you can look at it a couple different ways. You can say, well, the plane can do all this, Brian, and then it negates all the extra work that you're going to create for me. But wow, I just totally lose control of my operation.
Yeah, but what I look at is dollars and cents. And if, like in our wheat, we're going to go over it 6 times probably. That's 6 applications. If we call the plane in around here, it costs us about $8 an acre every time the plane comes across. That's $48. If I do it myself, I figure it's going to cost 2 or 3. Let's even figure on the high side, figure $3 times 6, it's 18. Okay, so I got 48 for the plane versus 18 for myself. That's $30 an acre. Okay, so if I got 1,000 acres, it's $30,000 I made. And
Yep.
I guess it is money, and it's something that I think that I can do myself. Why would I not do it?
Well, when we talk about $100 an hour jobs, you think of how many acres you can get across.
Right.
And if you figure the value being at $5 an acre that you save, $3 doing it yourself versus $8 for a plane, that's a pretty good job. That's easily $300 or $400 an hour that you can earn by spraying things yourself.
Yep.
Now, when we talk about tramlines, I know that I get a lot of response back from our show saying, I'm not set up for that. It sounds like a lot of work. How complicated is it?
Yeah, there's nothing much to it. Basically, there are companies out there that make these tramline systems, and let's say you've got an air seeder. All you're going to do is you're going to direct the seed that was going to go in those 2 rows where your track is. You direct them just to the outside of those 2 rows, so pushing that seed out. So now you basically have double the amount of seed in the rows next to it, which we actually want because we're going to try to compensate for having no seed in that track. And that's really all there is to it. It's nothing more than a diversion of seed when you need to get this thing set up. But what you have to do is get all your equipment on the same tracks. So you want to be running the same spray. If you got multiple sprayers on your farm, obviously it's nice when they all have the same boom width and that kind of thing. But if you get everything set up on your farm, it's really pretty simple.
Well, other questions with the tramlines are, all right, now I had a nice crop that shaded everything in and I have great weed control late in the season because I've got crop canopy. Now I've got these rows that are open.
Yeah, but
what kind of problems am I going to run into there?
You do, but like on our farm, we've got 120-foot booms now, so we don't have very many tracks out there across an entire field. It's just not that big a deal. The other thing is by diverting that seed that was supposed to go in those tracks, you're going to have more plants, and those plants are going to grow a little taller and shade that row. Yes, it's not going to be perfect, but let's keep in mind, if we just skip those 2 rows right there, divert the seed over, those rows are still smaller than our 30-inch rows we have that we're standing in right now in corn or in soybeans.
All right, well, the other question too is, am I going to get more yield? Why would I do it? I mean, I realize I'm going to save some money and that's fine. Am I going to get more yield out of this? Is it going to encourage me to be out in the field more now that I have these tramlines?
So, yeah, I wouldn't expect you're going to get any more yield. This isn't about getting more yield. This is about being able to go out and spray yourself and not damaging your crop when you go spray. So that's really what it comes down to. Instead of having the plane come in or you have to have the plane come in, now you can do the job yourself. You can save money that way. You can be more timely on stuff. And yeah, you might be more likely to do it since you've got these tramlines out there. You say, well, I got the tramlines anyway. I'll just go spray. It only takes a few hours. And then I solve my problem, whether it's weeds, insects, diseases, or fertility.
And honestly too, and I know some people are going to say, oh man, you guys are against aerial application. That's not the case at all. I think it's great, and I think it's got an awesome place in our business because you look at how many times most people are going across their wheat. It's not 6 times. It's maybe twice.
Yeah,
at the
it's
most.
not enough is the whole problem, and that's what we're trying to get at today is if you're going to intensively manage your wheat, the odds are extremely high. You're going to be going across a lot more than 2 times or even 3 times. You're going to need to go out there quite a few times, but heck, even if you only go out 2 or 3 times, it's still nice when you don't have to run over any wheat.
Well, one thing you may need to be out in your fields for is to control our weed of the week. Can you identify this week's weed?